Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be the start of a series, a fitness series that I'm putting out for you guys. If you don't know, I'm a homeschooling mom of 4, but I'm also a personal trainer / group exercise instructor, and I've been doing that for about 5 years now. So to kick off this fitness series that I am sharing things that have come up within my clientele for like the last 5 years. So I'm covering things that will probably be most applicable to women, moms especially. I thought that I should share with you guys a little bit about my fitness journey because you obviously don't all know. So this video is going to be my personal fitness journey from when it started, which was about 4.5 years ago, to where I am now currently. And it's going to be the Cliff Notes version. There's a lot of detail and I don't want this video to be an hour long, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So let's get started. Okay, so I had 4 kids within 4 years. So I had a pregnancy in 2007, 2008, 2010, and 2011. So you do the math. They're all about a year to a year and a half apart. And so before I got pregnant, I would say I was not overweight. I was a normal weight. I was definitely not somebody who worked out every day. And I definitely did not have an understanding of how to be fit. I thought that I needed to eat lots of salads, and when I did work out, I needed to do lots of cardio. And at that point in life, it was just about not gaining weight, but I never had a problem with like losing weight. I've always been somebody who needed to be conscious of what they were eating, because if I wasn't, I would gain weight easily. That's just my genetic makeup. There is truth to that. And so that's where I was. So I didn't have a ton of knowledge. I just did the best I could. I thought salads, probably I went really long in between eating meals. I was probably way under eating, but we'll cover that in another video. So that's where I started. My starting weight for my first pregnancy, I'll never forget it, was 137 pounds. And when my first child was born at 40 weeks plus 2 days, I was up ready at 206. I gained almost 70 pounds being pregnant with her. And I did that through eating whatever I want and not being active at all. And I thought, oh, I'm pregnant, I don't need to worry about it. So when she was born, I did lose some weight right off the top, of course, because she was a large baby. But then when she was only 5 months old, I found I was pregnant again. And I did not continue losing weight, obviously, so I held on to the weight. And then again, that happened with the 3rd one, and again with the 4th one, that happened as well. So each pregnancy, I gained less weight because I had retained weight from the previous pregnancy. But at the end of the day, after my 4th child was born in 2011, I was, after she was born, so this is when I began my fitness journey, which I had C-section, so I definitely had to wait 3.5 months. But I was ready to I knew she was going to be the last baby that I had, and I was ready to get back into shape. At least I wanted to feel good about myself. I did not like what I saw in the mirror. I didn't feel confident. My husband has always been very fit and active, and I did not like being in pictures next to him, standing next to him, being the bigger one. I didn't like weighing more than him. I didn't like all of that. And so I decided this was the time I'm gonna go for this. So when I started that, I was about 190 pounds after she was born. And like I said, that was due to all of the pregnancies on top of each other. I actually only gained about 17 pounds when I was pregnant with my 4th child, but I had held on to weight. So I was still right around the same weight, if that makes sense. So what I did was I sat down and I talked to my husband about it. And he was a runner in college, and so he encouraged me, because he knew about running, that I just start running. And I have never been a runner. I am not a good runner. I don't really love running, but I didn't didn't have my own information to go off of, and I knew I needed to lose weight, and I knew that I could run with a baby in a stroller or whatever I needed to do. So this seemed like a good plan. But for some crazy reason, I got the idea in my head, how cool would it be if I ran a half marathon, so that's 13 miles, the weekend she turned 1. I knew I needed a goal. I knew I needed something to keep me accountable. And so I actually partnered with my husband's cousin, who is a missionary, and I ran for donations toward her mission. And so that made me not be able to quit, because trust me, I thought about it. So I first started out running. I couldn't run more than 2 or 3 minutes without stopping, and I just stayed after it. I started increasing my time. I didn't follow a program. I just ran until I couldn't run anymore, and then I would slow down, and then I would go again, and I just was working on increasing my endurance and gaining longevity. And I started to see that I was losing weight over time of doing that. It was probably about 3 to 6 months of time I started to lose some weight. I had lost about 15 additional pounds without really making any diet modifications. And then a blessing in disguise was my nursing baby had some really severe allergies to dairy and lots of things. And so I had to go on an elimination diet. I'm not gonna really cover that because that's not what this is about, but if you wanna look it up, you can look up Dr. Sears' elimination diet and you'll be able to see what I was eating. So my food choices had become very small. I was pretty much a vegan at this point. However, I was still eating some meat, but I wasn't eating dairy and lots of different things like that. So that, combined with nursing, combined with exercising, really started to increase the weight loss. And so over time, I had gotten down within about 15 to 20 pounds of where I started before ever getting pregnant, and I was totally satisfied. I went from a size 14 to a size 10, and I was glad, and a large to a medium, and I was feeling really good about it. And so I went ahead and I did run that marathon the weekend she turned 1, so this would have been December of 2012, and I was successful. And that feeling of satisfaction within myself, I set a goal, I did it, wow, was life altering for me. And it lit a fire inside me I didn't even know I had, and I knew that I wanted to keep getting better. So I then slowly started attending classes at my gym, classes like Body Pump, and I loved that class. It's something that I would say is a beginning weightlifting class. If you've never done weightlifting, it's a good class to learn some basic movements, and so that's where I was. So I started attending, and there was an instructor that I became pretty close to. I loved her class. She was super energizing and fun and kept me coming back. And one day she said to me, she said, "You should become an instructor." And I started laughing at her because that was not something I ever thought I would do. And so I just kind of laughed it off, brushed it off. And then about 2 months later, in the same class, another person who worked at that gym was in there doing the class, and she approached me and she said the same thing. She said, "You would be an amazing instructor. You've lost so much weight. You've got yourself, in shape again. It's inspiring. You should definitely consider it." And so then I went home and I told my husband, I said, these two women who I admired had told me that I should become an instructor. What do you think about that? And he totally was encouraging and supportive. And so that is when I decided I was going to become a certified instructor. So I initially wanted to pursue Les Mills Body Pump certification, but there wasn't one in my area, and I was chomping at the bit to get going once I decided that that was something I wanted to do. And so the gym that I go to was hosting a Les Mills Body Combat certification. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a martial arts cardio kickboxing type class. I had never even taken the class, but I signed up for the for the certification, not knowing what I was even getting myself into, but I said, hey, I can do it. So I went in, I got certified. That was super exciting. And I started teaching a body combat class, and I loved being able to like motivate people and encourage people. And I loved feeling like now I was working out already, but now I was earning a little bit of money to work out. And so I loved that. And then the next certification I got was a indoor cycling certification. A class came available, and I have always loved to cycle. I still love to cycle. And so I went ahead and got that. So I became Schwinn Cycle certified. And so then I was teaching cycle, and I was also teaching body combat. And I was feeling really good about that. I was so proud of it myself. I just was like, wow, this is a crazy journey that all started with me deciding that I deserved to feel good about myself again. And then I became an online Beachbody coach to help more people be reached. A lot of family and friends were across the country, and they were noticing the changes within myself and wanted to know what I was doing. And so then I did some rounds of like the 21-day fix. I did PIO, the Chalene Johnson program, and the 21-day fix. And I really learned more about clean eating and nutrition through the 21-day fix. And since then, I've led maybe over 100 women through that program, and I'll talk more about that in another video. So I lost more weight, and over time, it took me about two years. I was right back down to where I started before I ever had a baby. And I was like, victory, I did it. I lost 80 pounds almost. I was so excited. And then I was introduced to weightlifting, and that changed everything for me. I got certified in another program called Les Mills Grit, and that is a high intensity interval training program, and that is like my soul program. Like that is what keeps me inspired. That is the challenge that I love. But I was also weightlifting on my own time before I became a personal trainer, and was noticing changes within my body because cardio was yielding a certain result, and I'll cover that in another video. And I was ready to kind of step it up a little bit. And so I started weightlifting on my own, and then I got certified in that program. And I taught that program for about a year before I became a NASM certified personal trainer. And I did that because I had such success with my team, and I loved motivating them in a smaller setting. An average group exercise class for me would have 20 to 30 people in it, and I loved the small one-on-one time with the members to coach them and motivate them and give them tips and the team. And so that is what pushed me to become a NASM certified personal trainer. And then once I did that, I gained way more knowledge combined with all the experience that I had had working on myself as well as other people. And so those two things came together, and that is where I am at now. Just last weekend, I went through another certifying program, and it's actually one that is really near and dear to my heart. It's a special program with the facility where I work at is partnered with the Livestrong Foundation, and it is a program for cancer survivors to reclaim and regain their strength after going through treatment for cancer. And so I'm really excited to be a part of that and work with people who need encouragement and inspiration most. And in turn, I know I'm gonna leave feeling really inspired by them too. So that is my latest certification. So that kind of takes you from where I started at 206 pounds to where I am now at a healthy 145 to 150 depending on the day. And we will get into that in another video too. So that is the Cliff Notes version of my fitness journey. I was not fit before. I didn't know what I was doing. I never hired a personal trainer. I went at it alone, and I learned through trial and error. And so that is what I'm going to be sharing with you guys to help any of you moms out there with things that go along with this. So this is the super short short and condensed version. I will go ahead and post a picture before and kind of where I'm at currently on my Instagram account. If you want to go check it out, I'll leave the link in the description. You can kind of see my before and after. However, I don't have a really amazing one of like day one and now, because when I started, social media wasn't as big as it is now. And to be honest with you, I hid from the camera. I didn't want anyone to have a picture of me. And the few pictures I have, I hated, and I wouldn't even put them up. I'm sure some of you can relate to that, stacking all your kids in front of you so no one sees your midsection. So I will leave a link to that picture. It's the best one I've got, but that is the short version, not really short. So if you stuck through this video, thank you so much. Please like, please subscribe to the channel. I am going to be sharing lots of stuff that I know will be of value to any of you moms out there or women who are looking for applicable fitness advice. If I can do it, so can you. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.